Hey, Spidey. I love you. How's your day going, princess? What are you doing? Are you having a good time? I love you. Hey guys, I'm Patricia from TarantulaHeaven.com, and that is pretty much how all of my conversations with Spidey have ever gone. And today you are going to learn if tarantulas can actually hear you. Now, if you are new to my channel, I do post tarantula videos every single week along with a Tarantula Tuesday newsletter, which you can definitely subscribe to in my description links. I have a link for that there. I'm also the admin of the group Tarantula Heaven on Facebook, so if you would like to talk about spiders more off of YouTube, you could definitely join that if you're on Facebook a lot. And I'm also the creator behind the Spinneret, a new tarantula magazine that I recently started, and you can find links to that in the description as well if you want to check that out. So I create a ton of tarantula stuff because I really love tarantulas and spiders, and if you do too, you might want to hit that subscribe button. Moving on, I have seen a lot of stuff about whether spiders can see or not, but I actually got pretty curious because people are wondering, can spiders hear? Can they hear music? Do they like music? Do they even have the ability to hear music? And I actually got really inspired to make this video after seeing a really interesting post on the Facebook group Tarantula Owners Worldwide. It's a great group for tarantula owners, so you might want to check it out. But anyway, someone had actually asked a question about whether tarantulas could hear music or not, and if they could, like, what kind of genre do you think that tarantulas liked? And like, this was just a really funny conversation because, like, while there wasn't really so much like research or anything like that, people were saying some like ridiculous things like, my tarantula likes metal or like country or classical music, and it was just really funny. Someone even said that their tarantula liked Disney soundtracks, so like, that was just precious. Me too. But anyway, like, I wanted to actually, like, you know, kind of look into it more seriously to see if tarantulas actually could have the ability to hear things. And one person actually, you know, was asking if it wasn't just like, could they hear, but like, could loud music harm them? And I thought that that also could be brought into the discussion too. So one thing that I did find is that one person was talking about like the vibrations, which, you know, the louder the music, the stronger the vibrations would be. And of course, we do know that tarantulas do hear vibrations, or they do sense vibrations. So I thought that was really interesting. And this is what they wrote. You know, the answer is basic. Loud vibrations cause tarantulas to react differently in their habitats. If you play music loudly around them all the time, then more than likely you're playing a factor into their erratic behavior or symptoms. People who say, I do it all the time and it doesn't even bother them, probably never took the time to understand if it would in the first place and are only justifying their means. Number one reason why I wouldn't have a TV or speakers in the same room as my collection. I think that's kind of sound advice. You know, like, there wasn't like this wasn't part of like a study or anything like that. This was, you know, an opinion. But I think that that's really sound because tarantulas are very sensitive to vibration. And, you know, I've kind of written about this before in like a video and a post about, you know, how to set up your tarantulas enclosures. And when we talk about location, we want to make sure that we are not putting our tarantulas in a place that's really noisy or has a lot of foot traffic and a lot of movement, because they do definitely sense vibrations. And that's kind of like how they hear and how they sense their surroundings because their vision's so poor. So I think it's safe to say that, you know, having loud vibrations or strong vibrations near your tarantula will definitely make it behave more erratically and cause it not to be in a relaxed state. I mean, a lot of tarantula owners will tell you that, you know, the more quiet and dark a room that you leave your tarantula in, the more likely they will actually come out and the more you will actually see them. This is why a lot of tarantulas, you know, besides their biological rhythms, they are more active at night. This is when they do all of their secret spider stuff because that's when they feel most comfortable and relaxed. So to answer the question of, do tarantulas actually hear? Well, they do not have eardrums, but yes, they can hear in their own special sense. There was actually a study that proved this by in a paper, I believe, called Current Biology was the place that they published their work. And I'm gonna read a little paragraph describing what they did. To find this out, researchers implanted tiny electrodes in a region of the spider's brains that would show whether sound was being processed. Then they placed the spiders on a specially designed box to eliminate any vibrations from below. Most spiders sense their surroundings through vibrations, of course, and scared the heck out of them with a speaker produced buzz from one of their predators, the mud dauber wasp. An out of earshot, high frequency buzz and a silent control elicited no response from the spiders, but the 80 hertz wasp buzz made them freeze and look around, startled, just as they would do in the wild. What's more, data from the electrodes showed a spike in brain activity with each buzz, revealing that spiders actually hear sounds from a swooping mud dauber wasp to you crunching potato chips on your couch. The researchers who published their work in Current Biology say further study is needed to see exactly how spiders receive sounds without eardrums, but they believe the sensitive hairs on their legs play a part. And, you know, of course, tarantula owners do know that, like, their hairs on their body are how they sense vibrations, and I guess how they used it for, like, hearing, too. Research has also shown that the hairs on spiders are so sensitive that they can actually detect human speech from several meters away. Paul Shamble, an arachnologist, actually did lead some research at Cornell University, and this is what he had to say about it. All spiders have hairs, so it seems likely this is something that lots of spiders can do as opposed to something exclusive to jumping spiders. So this was done with jumping spiders first. This result really offers a new perspective on the auditory world of spiders, since we now know they can hear at much greater distances. Surprisingly, we found that they also possess an acute sense of hearing. They can hear sounds at distances much farther away than previously thought, even though they lack ears with the eardrums typical of most animals with long-distance hearing. I'm not sure everybody is going to be thrilled that spiders can hear them as well as see them. Just adding to that, further investigation showed the spiders could hear claps from more than 5 meters away, and that they were most sensitive to low frequencies, so that's about 80 to 130 hertz, which could match the wing beats of paradisoid wasps, a predator of jumping spiders, or the pitch of a very deep male voice. So maybe I need to talk in a much lower voice when I talk to Spidey so that she can hear me. So Shamble said, it probably sounds like a really bad phone connection. They probably can tell that you're talking from across the room, but they're certainly not listening to you. And unfortunately, I know that Spidey doesn't listen to me. So this is really interesting, and it could obviously only mean one thing, that you need to tell your spiders that you love them all the time, because I guess they can hear you even if they don't understand you. And just going back to the post about music, it actually was proven that spiders and tarantulas do respond to different genres of music differently. And there was actually a study done on this, which is pretty cool. There was a study done in Miami that showed that when you were playing classical music around the spider, that the spiders would actually make their webs closest to the speakers, but when it was like techno and rap music, the spiders would choose to put their speakers much farther away from the speaker. Now this might actually have anything to do with the music. It has more to do with the movement of the air that the music creates in the speakers. So a person on Reddit, when I was looking for some research on this, explained this perfectly. Spiders build their webs in places where there's a lot of air movement so that they can catch insects. It would make sense that the air column from bass heavy music would allow them to put their webs farther back. So that could be why a spider will differentiate or choose to put their web farther away from something like a speaker playing techno or rap music. So I thought that was really interesting. I was really happy because there was actually a pretty good amount of information available and actual like studies done on this, which I feel like sometimes when I do things on like tarantula facts or something like that, sometimes I feel like there's not a lot of scientific information on it, but I was really happy to find a ton of studies and a lot of discussion going on about this topic. So this was actually really fun for me to research and look into. So, you know, in conclusion, can tarantulas hear? Can spiders hear? Yes, absolutely. They may not do it the way we do, but yeah, it sounds like they can hear in their own special way. So be nice to your spiders. Don't yell at them. I hope you found this video helpful and interesting and useful. And if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. And if you would like to see more tarantula topics and information like this, please please subscribe. You can also sign up for my Tarantula Tuesday newsletter by going to the links in the description. And if you'd like to talk with me more about spiders, I do have a tarantula group on Facebook that you can go to, that you can join. It's called Tarantula Heaven. There's lots of really cool tarantula loving people in there, always sharing some really cool stuff, and very compassionate group. And if you want even more spider stuff from me, I actually do have a tarantula magazine that is out. It's called The Spinneret, and you can check that out in the links in the description. And if you were interested in seeing some like behind the scenes stuff about my life with my tarantulas, I also have a Patreon channel that you can also check out too if you're curious. And there's also a subscription to the Tarantula magazine in there as well. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.